Ready? Just waiting. And make sure we have sound. Air conditioning is on. That should kick off in a few seconds, I would think. Hey, how about that? That was pretty cool. I hope that goes in to the whole thing. I'm still not seeing a picture. There it is, finally. I'm still not seeing a picture. Yeah, I don't think it got it. I don't think it got it. But we do have sound, so that's good. That's fun. Then I said, in a few seconds, and then right then the air conditioning cut off. How about that? All right, we take the wins where we can get them. Alrighty, live from Cabot, Arkansas. This is answering your financial questions with Coach Steve Money, and it is a Sunday. Shameless plugs at the top. If you go to youtube.com/Coach Steve Money, scroll down a little bit, you'll see the answering your financial questions playlist. And so there's 100 and already. This is episode 101. You'll see my music playlist that has currently 9, soon to be 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, so give those a listen if you're inclined to. And of course, the Ramsey Show after show, of which there are 376 episodes of those now. And I will be doing the next one on Thursday, July 4th, after the replay of the Ramsey Show that day, approximately 6 p.m. Eastern Time. As you know, if you're watching this right this second, live, it is 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays and Sundays, for the Answering Your Financial Question stream. Alrighty. Before we get into the questions, to button up yesterday, someone had posted about the Ramsey Financial Coaching, Financial Coach Master Training, 100% profit, money back guarantee terms and conditions, and apparently it's a thing. It looks like it started, unless they just don't have it on here, it looks like it started at least February 19th through the 29th, and then since then they've been doing it over the whole month span, and it has renewed each month, so maybe that'll be a thing going forward. But it looks like it does exist. And the only thing that would make it, let's see, they do say that you have to complete Financial Coach Master Training during the FCMT completion period, and so I don't know what that is. I don't think they didn't have a deadline on it when I took it. You were able to do it at your own pace, and so I don't know what that completion period is, and it doesn't state it on here that I had seen. So I don't know how, but this is the kicker right here. Complete and document all writing, guided exercise, activities, challenges, and journal prompts. You did have to show some of those, but you didn't have to give them all of that documentation. And so this is going to be that's going to be more work. That includes people, as part of the class, you are supposed to meet with prospective clients and do a write-up on that as well, unless, depending on how much they changed it. They have changed it. It is an all-new version as of, I don't know how, but this year, I think, an all-new version of it this year. So I do not know, but that documentation, that's going to require some effort to put in. But I mean, you should be basically doing it anyway if you're trying to do the course correctly. But it doesn't look like there's any. You cannot, if you're doing it solely as a nonprofit ministry purpose, that means you're not trying to charge money anyway, and so of course you would not get the finances back for the amount. And so what they will do is they will refund you the full purchase price and also issue you $100 check. So can be that. So I would imagine, since it's still ongoing, that it's either working, working to draw people in, um, or they're giving it X number of months to see if it does work. So, all right. So got that buttoned up. On to the questions. Oh, and of course I didn't. I don't like to go to I scroll down to the right question too early, because I've done that before and it, like, for some reason it resets. I don't know if I hit the button or whatever, but it's happened to me multiple times where that did happen. So let's see. We want to go somewhere about it's fun because you look at the titles and you just say that you know the answer already pretty much. Every once in a while the what's in the question can yeah, you did I do that one? We did these. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, yeah, I think this was the last one I did, and this is a question. I do address this in the how to do the baby steps right song. Should I use $1,000? Should I use that to pay debt? It's like, no, because debt is not an emergency. You should get out of it as fast as you can, but it's not an emergency. Emergencies are things that happen that you do not know about, that is coming. You do not know in advance. You already know you have the debt because you were dumb enough to take it out. And so you already know that. So that $1,000, best case scenario, you never, ever, ever do anything with that $1,000. And then you add to it in step 3, and you never touch any of that money too. That is the best case scenario. So that always just sits around. And so you can put in a bank savings account. You can put in a high yield savings account as long as you have immediate access to it. Debit card or check writing privileges to that high yield savings account, because emergencies do not wait for a 1 to 3 day transfer. Alrighty. And also, I mean, you want to, just to think about what could go wrong with that. Say you're like, okay, well, I could move money around from somewhere else and do that. What if the emergency happens to you? What if you're in the hospital and are unable to do the transfer yourself? So you got to think about all that stuff. Effective novel 7831 says primary savings account. All right. Some people only need one, and they know that X amount is for this, X amounts for that, X amounts for that. And some people like to have different savings accounts for sinking funds, different for emergency fund, different for vacation fund, whatever they you do. But now most banks have where you can create like buckets inside the account, so it shows you it's separated, although in reality it's all basically in one account. All right, let's see. Primary saving ... Curious age. Oh, pardon us. Oh, I already did this one too. Unfortunately, I have no car payment about. What? Did I talk about? Is this the one I talked about yesterday, where I was wondering if English was their first language? I did that with one of them. Let's see. 3 separate accounts. Where others at, and if we're in a decent spot, I guess. Okay, so I guess I just wanted to know. Okay, maybe I didn't look at it. 200K equity. 6,000 remaining of student debt, so you shouldn't have extra savings beyond $1,000. There we go, 10,000, which is low for us. Yeah, so I did talk about this one. Yeah, so you're doing it wrong. So you don't have extra savings. Let's bring it up here. It doesn't say and save $1,000 and then save 9,000 more before you finish step 2. It does not say that on there anywhere. So where would you come up with that? Let's see, 18. Yeah, we did that one too. Did that one too. Somebody trying to get you to do their research project. Uh, that's a promotion, I think. No, I guess not. It is promoted though. Weird. What is a rich person's money tip you wish you knew sooner? You know what they say about secrets? They're no fun. And when it comes to super rich, trust me, they got. Oh, okay. So this is just a money tip you wish you knew. Cancel your car insurance. Here's the thing: your current car insurance is probably overcharging you. You have to have insurance. This is bull. Okay, so this might be Penny Hoarder. Might be a website or something like that. I don't know. Or they're promoting this website, EverQuote or something like that. So yeah, and you do not cancel one insurance until you get another insurance in place. That way you don't have a dead period in which you have no insurance. That would be not smart. Not smart. That's my kinder, gentler Coach Steve Money there. MSPs, 6-month emergency fund, yes. Make about 131K a year and get up to 30% bonus yearly. A bit late to retirement as I only have. Oh, I did that one too. Gosh. Okay. All right. Let me see. Cancel beach vacation. That might have been the last one we did. No, and we did that one, and then the paid off there. There we go. That's the last one we did because we did finish with 2 in a row. Cancel beach vacation in order to proceed on the baby steps. Do proceed. And just paid off mortgage 5 years early. So yeah, two good posts there. Very uplifting, very morale boosting. So that's where we finished yesterday. So today we have Coin Bob 87, Debt Snowball Auto Loan Baby Step 2, right there. Paid off around 13K debt so far. That part's great. Next is paying off my car loan. Okay. Currently I have 11.8%. People love to say the percents like it matters. $347 a month car payment. I owe over 13K on the car. Over $200 of the 347 goes towards the finance charges each month. Yeah, that's rough, dog. This, my friend, is why you do not see. You got to look at that before you sign up for a car loan or any kind of loan. Look at that first and then sign it. Not sign it and then be going through life, and then a couple years later you notice that $200 of 347 goes towards finance charges. That's not what you want. You want to know that ahead of time and not do it instead of doing it and finding out later. If I want to tackle this with Gazelle intensity, should I refinance since I'm getting lower rate offers? No, moving it around makes you think you did something. Just buckle down. Just cut stuff you don't need out of your budget and pay it off as quickly as possible. You try to move it around and then you're like, oh, that's basically the delaying it. That's basically making it take longer because again, it makes you think you did something. Well, you didn't do it, you just moved it around. If I plan on really attacking it, just don't worry about refinancing for a lower rate. Right. And also, a lot of times refinancing, there's a fee for that. They often don't do that for free, my friend. And so guess what that does? That adds more to your debt, whatever the fee is. So that's a negatory from Mr. Ramsey on that one. Just pay it off. Stop eating out if you're eating out. I feel like, for me, that this person is eating out on step 2. Just a hunch. Could be wrong. Drawing focus. What do I need to know to buy a house? What I need to know to buy a house? That could be that same music, the Fray, How to Save a Life song, just like the How to Do the Baby Steps Right. What do I need to know to buy a house? Maybe I'll do a sequel song. for that. Let's see. I've just accepted an offer for a $175,000 a year job. Single woman, age 35. At that income, I will have no debt and a year's expense as an EF, emergency fund, by Christmas. Not supposed to do a year, dog. You're supposed to do 6 months, and then you use the rest of that money coming in to do the rest of the baby steps, to proceed along the baby steps, instead of having, you don't have more than 6 months. 6 months is max, and that way you're not overly emergency funded. Let's see, have no family who I can rely on in a pinch, and anxiety order, having a year's worth of expenses appropriate in my case. I don't think so for the extra safety and mental health benefits. No need to argue. I won't change my mind. That's fine. You get to do what you want to do. That's fine. So, I mean, you should have just said, if you didn't want to argue about it, you could, here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. You can do a post on Reddit and not tell your whole life story, and not tell like the way that, if you want, if you don't want to argue about it, which I bet somebody in the 45 comments mentioned it, hashtag mentioned it. Anyway, questions about what come next. When I will start saving up to buy a house? I live in an area where the average house is over $500,000. Really love it here. Planning to stay here forever. What would Dave do? Dave wouldn't have a year of emergency fund. Let's see. I know nothing about fixing the roof. Right. Or hiring a plumber. Okay, if you have 1-bedroom apartments worth of stuff, then you don't need an average house. You can get a small house. And you don't need to buy a bigger house that is then going to require you to not look sparse. You'll have to spend more money on furniture and decorations, etc. Or hiring a plumber. You call a plumber. You go on the internet and find a plumber in your area, and you call them and you say, hey, I need this fixed, or I need a quote on this. Can you come check this out? How often to get this or that checked, or any other things? Well, you do have it inspected before you buy it, or any things that would make homeowning a blessing and not a constant source of worry. So I'm feeling the anxiety, not capping about the anxiety, apparently. So I get it. Where was it? Constant source of worry. I have 2 ideas about how to make buying a house better in my situation, and I'm seeking feedback. Okay, the answer, let's see. Most likely, when people call the Ramsey show with this, it said, should I do this or this? Dave often comes up with a third option, if not a fourth option as well. All right, save up to either pay cash preferably, or at the very least have a big enough down payment for the mortgage to be equal to my current rent. Yeah, that's either one of those is what would be advised. Cash in full for the house is the preferred Ramsey method, absolutely. But a lot of people won't wait for that, and so Dave is fine with you doing that as long as you put 10% down for a first-time home buyer, or 20% down for a second home buyer. And you don't have 2 mortgages at the same time. You don't say, oh, I'm going to keep the other one and rent it out, and then I'll get a mortgage on the other one. Nope. That's not how you do it. Let's see. This income, that'll be summer 2027, okay? 35, that's only 2.5 years from now. So 37, yeah. If the market is still insane in summer 27, maybe I'll wait and see if houses come down. You can do that, or you can just buy it when you can afford it. So you want it to be equal to your current rent. We got a friend in the Ramsey Show chat that is in that situation right now. Has enough, but doesn't want to give up the cheap rent. Has enough saved for a good down payment, which will allow the mortgage payment to be less than 25% of his gross income. But rent is so low for this person, they do not want to give it up, and so they're saving. So, but the problem is the interest rates could be up when he has more money, and interest rates and house prices together, they could both go up faster than he's saving. So that is the problem with that. So you do have to figure out when to pull the trigger on that. But you're not trying to. The idea is you don't try to time the market. You buy when you can afford it. Let's see. I need to hire someone to teach me what I need to know to buy and properly maintain a house. There's no rent-a-dad service to the best of my knowledge. Sure. Who would you hire for this? How could you? There is probably the books for dummies, computers for dummies, that kind of thing. There's probably a home ownership for dummies book. Let's check the old internet on that. Home. I gotta put your hands in the right spot. Home ownership for dummies. Look, it filled in. And although I typed it anyway, look at that. Home maintenance, home buying for dummies, home improvement for dummies. There you go. If you don't want to buy this stuff, you can first time homeowner survival guide, any and all of this. And so if you don't want to buy it, you can get it from your local library. How about that? I figured there would be some of this, so that would be what you would do. And you could also, if you have specific questions, you could also just Google them. What do I do about a leak in the bathroom sink? That kind of thing. You could do that and learn about it that way. All right. Okay, so this wasn't a one or this wasn't a do this or do that. This was like two things that she wanted to do, and she wants feedback on both. So I got no problem with the first one, but if you're trying to time the market, that's a losing battle. Buy when you can afford it, even if rates are at an all-time high and prices are at an all-time time high. If you want to be in a house, and not wait longer for interest rates and prices to come down, then buy it if you can afford it. And if it doesn't make you house poor according to Mr. Ramsey's guidelines, and that would be, of course, that the mortgage payment is no more than 25% of your take-home pay each month. And that way you have the other 75% of the take-home pay to proceed along the baby steps. And so that means you are, at that point, you are doing step 4, you're investing 15%. If I don't think children are not involved in this one, but then you would pay out the mortgage early. So you would do the, you have X amount for your expenses, and then you're investing the 15%, your mortgage is 25%, and then any extra you would put on the mortgage in order to pay it off early. Oh yeah, that mortgage does need to be on a 15-year fixed. If you have to get a 30-year mortgage to make the payment manageable, then you cannot afford that house. The general rule, a good baseline is, what did Sid come up with? Sid the kid came up with, it's 2.5 times your income is the amount of house loan you can take, house mortgage you can take out. So you take the house cost, and you subtract your down payment on it, and 2.5 times your take-home pay is what kind of house you can afford. And you don't have to get as much house as you can. You can get way lower. Like I said, for this person has one bedroom of stuff, and so you want to get a big house, a $500,000 house somewhere, and have to fill it with, have to buy extra furniture and stuff like that, or are you gonna just live in it like that, like with all empty except for your one bedroom's worth of stuff spread out throughout the house like that? So that you got to be careful on that. That creates extra expenses. Also, you buy a house, you're like, oh, well, we need this and this and this. That is not a need. You just want it for the house because you got a new house now, and so you're excited about the new house. And I get that part, but you don't go on a spending spree just because you buy a house. That's the exact time you shouldn't go on a spending spree. Crazy when sober, paying for college. What are some ways you or your children pay for college? Well, uh, it's step 5 here. Save for your children's college. So if your parents have done that, they can help you that way. Also, children can work. They can do this thing called work. I don't know. I don't know about you, but my butt was at work when I was 16. Shortly after my 16th birthday, I was working already. Actually, before that, I was working before that because I think at you could do that. You could work at 14. Um, and then they also got away with paying you student wage, which I believe was like, I think minimum wage was $3.35 at the time, and student wage was $2.85. And so some places were more than happy to hire a 14-year-old to work in their store. But yeah, work. They can work. And this is not paying for it, but this is keeping the cost down. You go to community college first, and also you stay in state, and so you get a break on the costs that way. But children, scholarships, grants, that means you're doing that as a part-time job as well as your actual part-time job. You're applying for grants and scholarships over and over and over again, and working. And so, all the, and parental help and all that together, that's how you do it. No loans ever. Baby step 0. That's when you decide that loans are not an option anymore. Taking loans off the table is an option for the rest of your life. Fast buds, budget tips. Got a fast bud. I don't know the words to it. Budget tips. Okay. Does anyone have any budget tips to help us stick to our budget? My wife and I have been really trying to budget better, but it seems like every month this year we have had some kind of emergency expense setting us back. Okay, so people people cap about things being an emergency. So because you forgot about somebody's birthday ahead of time and didn't put it in the budget, that is not an emergency. So that, again, not an emergency. So you just would not do that. And you would get them something at a different time, or, whatever you have to do. I mean, you can say, okay, well, we don't need this month, and so we can use that part of the budget. You can have another budget meeting when you remember somebody's birthday, and then you can fit it in your budget. That's perfectly fine. But you also can stop things from coming up that cost money, like that are optional, like trips, or what else would it be? Or somebody decides to throw a party and you think you need new clothes for it, or something like that, or that it requires you to spend money in some way. Somebody decides they want to get married halfway around the world, and you have to buy a plane ticket. You have to, and the hotel too, maybe even. You have to pay for all of that, and none of that is happening on baby step 2. No, 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 no. You're not doing any of that. You want to get out of debt, or you want to stay in debt and do all that stuff, making it take way longer. Not doing that stuff, you do in baby steps 1, 2, and 3. You're not doing non-necessity stuff. Only necessity stuff in baby steps 1, 2, and 3. And that's the way the advice is given. So let it be written, so that it should be done. Something like that. And that's the proven way that it works. So anything you try to do to nuance, a lot of people like to say, is there no nuance? Nuance, you had nuance when you were racking up all that debt. And if you didn't rack up all that debt, you probably wouldn't even be doing the baby steps, because you wouldn't have said, oh, I don't like this debt. And so you have to hate the debt enough to not do non-necessity things, to put the pedal to the metal. And baby steps 1, 2, and 3, and then you can relax a little bit on 4. And that's when you would start your vacations and stuff, and as long as you budget it. So yeah, definitely budget better then. Apparently, don't forget about stuff, and don't do everything. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to have your kids in every activity. Stop it. That's lunacy. You don't have unlimited money, so you can't do unlimited things. Funny Shiv 9917, paying off a mortgage. Currently have a mortgage on my primary home and second lake vacation home. You doing it wrong. My primary home mortgage balance is $202K on a 3.5, 25-year loan, 17 years remaining. Doing it wrong. Granted, could have done all this before knew about Dave Ramsey, maybe. I pay about $2,300 per month payment in principal. Okay. Total house property value is in the $2.4 million range, so plenty of equity on that. Great. My second mortgage balance is about $275 and is on a 3% 30-year loan. See, why is it on 30? That means you can't afford it. With 27 years remaining, I pay about $1,750 per month in total principal, interest, and escrow. The house is worth $625. So good equity in both of them. Do not pay additional principal on either. And if you don't have any other debt, if you're on step 6, you should be doing that. Let's see what the rest is. Do not pay either. And I'm cash poor month to month. I wonder why. So cash poor month to month with the 30-year loans. This says 25-year loan, and I guess he can get it for that, but this may be, that's why he has so much equity in this one, because he's been paying off 5 years now, maybe. And of course, value going up, of course. But yeah, so if he did, he wouldn't have been able to do it with 15s. Wouldn't have been able to do it with 15s. So, in case you didn't know, the answer is to sell the vacation house, and you can rent a vacation house when you use it. And also you got to think about at that point, or second lake / vacation home. How often are you in that, and you're paying a mortgage payment on it every single month? How often are you in that? That is dumb if you are not putting adequate time in there, and that is against the baby steps anyway, or against Dave Ramsey's advice anyway. You can have a mortgage on the primary home that you live in, but a second house, a lake house, vacation house, is a toy. And for toys, guess what you pay? Cash. Hola. No loans on that. So question, I have cash now to pay one of them off. Do I pay one of them off now? And if so, which one? It just seems that I should pay off the second home first, but it has lower interest rate, but longest term. What should I do? I appreciate any feedback. If you were going to definitely keep both of them against advice, and then that's what I would tell this person. I would say, you need to really look at how long you're there. I mean, if you're there, 3 weeks during the summer or something like that, and that's it, you can rent a house on the lake much cheaper than that. So do not do that, and I would sell that one. And then that way you wouldn't even have to, your cash could just stay, cash, and you can do whatever. You can put that on you could do both. You get rid of the lake house and you pay off your house. So that would be the advice. Um, yeah, I'm selling the lake house. Sorry. And then guess what? Then you wouldn't be cash poor. And also, if you say you have the cash now to pay one of them off, you're not cash poor month to month. You're just doing it wrong by saving money instead of trying to pay these things off. And so it doesn't say, there's just 16 comments. Let's look. Let's see if there's any extra debt. Looking for OP, 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 OP. Yeah. OP, OP, OP. Nope. No extra information from the original poster, Funny Shift 9917. So yeah, so that's the deal. You sell the lake house and you use your cash now to pay off the home mortgage, and hopefully that puts you in baby step 7. And so if you're in baby step 7, guess what you can do then? Now you have plenty of money to rent a lake house or to save to buy one in cashola. All right, excellent. Figured it out again. Zealous North 0. Interesting but good situation. I'll be the judge of that, matey. Righty. Interesting but good situation. Oh man, I forgot to do the thing again. There's a setting I always have to change in YouTube Studio, and done. All right. Okay. Interesting but good situation. Currently 18, still a baby. Getting ready to start college at the U.S. Air Force Academy. Excellent. Part of attending there is they pay for pretty much anything, and I got a scholarship to pay for whatever is left over. Excellent. This is also another way you can get college for free. Obviously you're putting in your time, and the military isn't necessarily the safest place that you can work, but you can weigh the pros and cons on that, and so that is another option that I did not think of previously on answering your financial questions. They also give a $1,300 a month stipend to students, but as I'll be stuck on base and busy, I can't imagine I'll be spending too much of it. Currently, I have $10,000 saved, and I'm going to sell my car for about $12,000. Right now, I'm planning on having that money in high yield savings because I won't have access to my phone or any electronics, and I don't want to lose my money while I'm gone. But let me know if I should do something different. Being at Air Force Academy, I think they'll take care of you. Like any medical stuff that comes up, I think they'll take care of you. So it's probably fine. And then that way, yeah, if it's an high yield savings account and you don't have access to phone or electronics, that's fabulous. That keeps you from spending it. Main question, however, is my third year. Should have between 30 40K. How much money should I and can I spend on a car? I have always wanted a Porsche Boxster and was planning on spending 25K to get a used one. Is that a good amount? I don't know. I don't know anything about cars. Okay, so what I'm going to say is you're planning for that now at 18. And the problem is, as you get more years under your belt, you'll be 21, coming up on 22 at that time, and you'll be older and wiser and more mature, hopefully, and car may be the least of your priorities at that point. It just depends on what's going on in your life. If you don't have any debt and you can pay for a used car, you can do that. But on this $25,000 one, you would have to be making 50K a year to get that. You can, on your things with wheels and motors, the total sum of those can be half of your annual income. And so you got to be making 50K for that. Obviously, no used ones. You have to be a millionaire in order to buy a used car so you can handle the depreciation. But yeah, I don't know about if that's a good amount or not. It's not for me because I don't care about cars. I'm fine with using a $10 car if it gets me from A to B, no matter what it looks like. I don't care, no matter what make and model it is. I don't care about that. And so some people do, but again, I mean, that's 3 years down the road. You don't know. I understand people wanting to plan things out, but you don't know that that's going to be your priority. I mean, you could have a family by then as well. And then guess what? You don't get porch boxers sometimes if you have a family. And so just have to wait and see on that. Is my advice to not try to plan that out that far. But you're doing fine with money already. And, thank you for your service, obviously. And so, hopefully, everything will turn out great. Butzo Brown, would a personal loan for moving out be justifiable? No, you just save for it. So I just got a promotion and started making 55K a year last Saturday. Great. You make more money, you can save up that moving out money faster. However, the drive is 120 miles round trip. Whoa! And my car isn't in the best shape. And I have to take bipolar medication, which causes side effects like being sleepy. Well, you got a lot of excuses, a lot of reasons. I currently live with family. It's impossible to do basic things like cook, laundry, etc. without backlash a lot of the time. It's a little toxic. Due to injury, I've been out of work for about 40 days. I only have $800 in my name and bills have to be paid. I should be going back to work this Friday and will be working OT to get myself back together. Yeah, again, baby step 0, loans are not an option. So you would find another way to do that. I wanted to take a personal 5K loan. It won't take you long. You can get 5K in about 2 months from that job. Unless you got backed up bills from being out of work for 40 days. This would give me enough to stay afloat until I get a few paychecks in. If I waited 3 months to save up enough, there may not be enough spots available at the apartment. It's possible. Also, you could cut any things you're spending money on now. If you're eating out, etc., and you can save faster than the 3 months for some reason it's going to take you to save $5,000. If I waited 3 months, plus if my car breaks down, I'd have to Uber to and from work 120 miles a day. No, you would buy a cheap car. You would buy a cheap replacement car with cash. If I moved to the apartment, they have public transit to work. There's a lot of expenses that pop up due to working so far away. Indeed, that's on you for doing that. I mean, it's a good thing you got a job, but you're the one that put you in this situation, and so you got to deal with it. Would I be justified in getting a personal loan? No. Justification station, of course. No. Everybody wants to get the pass on the loan. I mean, everybody calls up Dave Ramsey and asks, should I get a loan for that? Thinking they're the exception, and this person is not the exception either. I'm viewing it as a type of mortgage. It doesn't matter what you're viewing it as. Now, again, you get to do what you want to, and you don't have to run it by Reddit or the internet or Dave Ramsey's advice. You don't have to make it mesh with that. You can just do it. The fact that you're asking means you know that's wrong. I'm using the loan to establish myself at home base close to my work. I'd like to hear your advice to not do that. To do Dave's advice. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. Maybe just follow the Ramsey advice, and that is no debt. Especially if you already have some. So you can save that up. You can save that up. Doesn't say what like he's putting in for money. I mean, for like if he's kicking in some for rent or whatever. But I think 55K a year, you can save up 5K. Let's see. No wonder 956. Single mom needing advice. Unexpected home repair. Alrighty, here we go. Just try not to prejudge. Try not to prejudge. Find your center. Try not to prejudge. Here we go. And later I'll tell you what the prejudgment was. And we'll see if I'm right. Okay, I'm in baby step 2 and have been actively paying down my debts. I noticed some cracks on my walls in the last year or two, and 2 doors in the last month that either swing shut or jams at the top, so I scheduled a free home foundation inspection with DryPro. The inspector sat with me, showing me photos of mold spores on the wood and moisture readings of the insulation in my crawl space. 43% does seem high for moisture. He also told me that my house may have been built to code at the time in 2009, but that the master bedroom end of the house was overextended beyond the minimum support requirements. I don't recall his exact terminology. Just that there should be a beam for every 6 feet, but my home was built stretching it to a little over 7 feet. The inspection was very thorough. I'm not questioning the recommendations. However, the estimate was just over $34,000 to completely repair, replace, and prevent any future mold issues. I asked for a price in just getting rid of the mold and preventing future growth of mold spore, and that only reduced it to $22,000. I was not expecting this expense at all, so I'm feeling a little lost right now on how to handle this. I have been putting everything extra towards baby step 2, so I don't even have any extra saved up, right? Which you shouldn't. You should have $1,000 if you're on baby step 2. I don't have any family that can help me with this. I'm already selling everything I can. The thought of taking on more debt at this point makes me sick and uneasy, given I have one income. I know I need to get more than one estimate. I was going to mention that. But I would appreciate some guidance on where to go from here. Here's a listing of the items to be performed from the estimate. I'm not going to know anything about that. So I'm sure it's very detailed. I mean, it looks like the guy knows what he's talking about, it would seem, but yeah, definitely another estimate. Don't get the warranty. If the warranty will take it down a little bit more, do not get warranty on it. Customers are responsible for any electric sub-panel or panel upgrade if repaired, unless otherwise noted as contract. Buried discharge will be an additional cost. Battery backup system is highly recommended. Yeah, so yeah, see, it's never ending. But this and this and also this and this and that. How did electrical get involved with it? Did I miss where electrical got involved with it? I don't know where electrical got involved with it. So that would be my problem there with that. Utility protection. Yeah, I guess again a warranty, so no. 5-year annual service plan, no. Yeah, so yep, nope. Definitely get another estimate on that, and then after that, you got to figure it out. It's all right. I mean, there's no magic for it. And you would just get rid of the mold right now, and you can address other things after you are done with your full emergency fund. And that is not an emergency. The mold can be considered it, but you don't have that now. You should just have the $1,000. But as far as the rest of it, you would address that later. You put off anything that you can while you do the baby steps. And so yes, and so I'm glad I stopped myself, because what I was gonna think, it was gonna be the average one of these where there's a slow drip in one of the sinks, and the person now needs a new whole entire remodeled bathroom. That is what happens quite a bit. It did not happen this time, and so I'm glad I stopped myself. Again, a kindler, gentler Coach Steve Money. Eagerly anticipating talking money before marriage. Not taking. You don't take it from each other. Talking money before marriage, yes. And people always think I'm joking, but I say bring up Dave Ramsey on the first date. I mean, you don't have to say him by name, but you can just give a brief overview of how you handle money. Because if you got a spender on the other side of the date table with you, you got to be able to judge whether you should spend any more time with that person. Or if that's a waste of time. If that's a deal breaker for you, you don't just wait until you get married and then figure out and didn't do all your money talking. That is way, way, way too late. Let's see, does anyone have a link to a video where Dave yells? Talks, maybe, is what they meant to put there, about the importance of talking and being on the same page about money before marriage. No, that's common sense, though, but I'm sure he has said it. Hope this kind of post is okay. It is, but I don't know. You can do a YouTube search for Dave Ramsey talking money before marriage. You can type that in and see if that brings up anything on the YouTube. You can also do a Google search for that as well, in case it brings up some kind of blog post or something like that they've done at Ramsey Solutions. And so, but yeah, you definitely do that. Definitely. And I don't see a problem with mentioning that on the first date. I mean, you can wait till the second one if you want, but I don't think there's, sometimes depending on what the other person does financially, that may mean there's not a second date even. So that would be my advice. It's me over here now. I'm walking here. Plaid's new tool for zero credit home buyers. Interesting. All right, Plaid is a platform that allows you, I think maybe every dollar might use it as well to connect your bank for like payment platforms, etc. To connect with your bank. Plaid is like the go-between. And so let's say they have a new tool for zero credit home buyers. Did not know that. I did not know that. That's Johnny Carson, kids. Tonight Show host a long time ago. Great news for those of us striving for debt-free living and home ownership. Plaid just launched a tool that can make cash flow underwriting a mainstream reality. Even if you have zero credit score, it's not zero, it would be indeterminable, but maybe that still counts. This tool uses your real financial behavior, your real. Yeah, I mean, it has access to, you would link it to your bank account so it would know cash income, spending, and saving habits instead of a credit score to assess mortgage eligibility. Check out the product launch. It's a YouTube video. Okay. And this is just somebody letting us know. It's not a, I mean, maybe he works for Plaid, who knows, but it's not a sponsored post here. So, all right, interesting. Oh, let's check out the benefits. Why not? See what the benefits are. No credit goes needed, fair assessment, rewards for responsibility, better mortgage rates. Okay, it could be a game changer for our community. What do you think? It's possible. I mean, basically, what this would do would it depends on whether the lenders will accept it or not, whether they'll go by that. So, I mean, basically, what that is doing which is what they would do in manual underwriting anyway. You would have a human looking at the stuff, and then basically, I don't know, it may not be a number score, but they are assigning you a sort of a score in their head whether they're gonna lend you the money or not. And so this basically will give, since it's all ones and zeros, this basically will give you a number. And so it's basically going to be, there's a level where you're going to pass and a level where you're going to fail. And so this is basically another way to get a kind of credit score, but it's not credit, it's your cash flow score, maybe just your financial score, maybe you could call it. So yeah, I don't see a problem with that. But again, you got to get lenders to sign off on that and say, yeah, we'll do that. Is there a non-Dave equivalent to budgeting baby steps? Sure, that's whatever you want to do. There's other financial people out there. How much time they spend on actually budgeting, I don't know. There's other people that have lists and stuff of things to do in order. But let's see. Let's see what's up with that. Why do we need a non-Dave? Now, there is not a non-Dave equivalent to budgeting baby steps that has anywhere near the amount of documented success stories that Dave has. There's no other financial advisor anywhere near the amount. And granted, that he's been doing it for 30 years, but still. I'm sure the percentage is higher as well. My now ex-fiance is terrible with the money. Okay, so not your problem anymore. This is the main reason I ended my relationship with her. We couldn't have any money discussions without her turning into a barrage of yelling. Yep, Fitty with a lot of debt. This is where you would talk to her about. You would go back in time, get the DeLorean, go back in time, and talk about money on the first date. How about that? A lot of debt, and basically can't make a trip outside without buying something. Unfortunately, she's teaching a 13-year-old daughter the same behaviors. Anyway, she was discussing how bad she is at budgeting and how she's going to be in debt for... Okay, now, if it's the ex-fiance, I mean, I appreciate anybody wanting to help anybody financially, but, sometimes you just gotta, you gotta walk away and let them be. Especially every time you talk about money with her, it ends up yelling. And so if there's no longer yelling when you talk about money with her, then fine. But otherwise, I would stay out of it. Let's see. Anyway, she was discussing how bad she is at budgeting and how she's going to be in debt for the rest of her life and what this meant. I tried showing her Food Dave things, but she was instantly turned off by the Christian slant. You don't have to say anything about that. You don't have to say anything about that because guess what? It's God's and grandma's way of doing things. So you don't have to say that. There are biblical verses that back up the advice, but you don't have to bring up any of that. And so if you brought that up, that might be your fault. She wouldn't brought a lot of attitude, and lingo is completely foreign and a big turnoff for her due to some religious trauma. Okay, if you just take a look at the baby steps, I don't see any Christian stuff here. I mean, it basically all is based on that. There's verses on all of this, but I'm not seeing this calling that out and calling attention to that. So that's going to be your whatever you did to link it with Christianity. So even though I know the baby steps and a lot of things taught in FPU would be super beneficial, absolutely can't convince her to give it a chance. I worry so much about her present and future, which is why I'm hoping I can suggest something to her that she won't instantly shut down. Thanks. This is the one that works the best. This is the one that works the most. If she doesn't want to do it, that's fine. You're not fiancés anymore. I mean, if you're trying to be friends, that's great. But it's not your responsibility anymore. And if she was your fiance, did you not know that she wouldn't like Christianity if you brought that in there? So I mean, I don't know where that would have come up unless you showed us like something in the Total Money Makeover that has Bible verses in it or something like that. I don't know where that would, but just looking at the baby steps and talking about the baby steps, it does not say anything to do anything Christian here. It doesn't say anything about tithing, which is what Christians believe in. 10% off the top before anything else is done. And so it doesn't say anything about that. So I don't know exactly what happened in this situation. But you know, someone that would yell at you anytime you talked about money, I don't know how much I would be in a hurry to try to help fix her life. Sometimes they gotta crash and fix their life on their own, and that is a way to get it to stick. So I don't know. There are plenty of other financial advisors, and they have different steps and so forth. And so all you gotta do is Google Martis Hef or Martu Chef. I don't know. Just paid PAID, not PAYED, off the student loans. Now we're debt free. That part is good. Now you can afford English lessons. All right. Hashtag third grade. Finally, on to baby step 3. Feels so good not having those hang over our head anymore. The debts. Yeah, great. Baby step 3. Yep. Absolutely. And so you're in a lot better shape than when you had debt. Even though you don't have the emergency fund yet. After you get the emergency fund, you'll be in even better shape. So excellent. Exact event 9,000. Denied auto quote with Liberty Mutual. Well, I never thought I'd see the day, but I was denied an auto quote for not having any open credit cards for the last 12 months. A card was closed this month for inactivity and no open auto. Okay, so yeah, so the problem is you don't have an indeterminate credit score, you're in between. So if you had a card still open, you're still like playing footsie with the bank still. So if it was closed this month for inactivity, yeah, so that's on you on that. No open auto loans in the past 5 years per their letter to me. I never have any. I use Allstate. I've never had any problem with an indeterminate credit score. Never had any problem. I did laugh when they spoke of people with debt having fewer claims according to the research. Whatever. You can't make this up. So then, is this where I have to ask for manual underwriting? I don't know. You don't get it from Liberty Mutual, apparently. Baby step 6 flare. Congratulations that you're on baby step 6. I'm sure somebody will give you car insurance. Jackals. Dave says to invest in 4 types of mutual funds, one of them being international fund. However, the majority of international ETFs I'm looking at do not have great historical returns. Why should I invest in this? You should not do ETFs. You should do managed international funds, which is exactly what he recommends for retirement. All that's managed funds, not ETFs, not index funds, managed mutual funds. And so Dave did look at, I believe it was last year, it's been 2 years already. I think last year, he had his Smart Vista Pro check to see what the difference would be over his term of investing if he did a 3-way split between the small, mid, and large cap funds and did not include the international any longer. And so he said if it would have come back that it was more money to have just done the other 3 types, he would have changed his advice to a 3-way. He would have done it himself and then changed his advice to a 3-way split. between those, leaving out the international. But it ended up being overall less money than having the international involved in the mix. And so, because you do get that sometimes when the U.S. market is down, U.S. companies are down, then the international can pick that up. So, and that's probably the reason behind that. And so, but you're looking at managed funds, not ETFs. And so, a lot of people, they get stuck on, I'm doing index funds. I'm not putting any more work trying to find a managed fund that does better. No, I just want to do an ETF. So I'm just going to compare the ETFs. And so you're leaving money on the table there, and that's not Dave's advice. Crater 3 just got a new job last month, unsure how to allocate funds. You do the baby steps. I don't know what you mean about budgeting, or let's see what it is here. There's a dot 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 there, so let's open it up and see how much. Oh, we got a nice list here. Okay, oh good, I can tell them to cut out stuff then. Cool. I just got where are we? Detail debts and expenses are listed below. Salary 53,500. Note, my fiance pays rent. Not advised. To live together till you're married. You know, combine payment, but apparently finances are not combined because it's pay rent. I buy groceries. We take turns paying when we eat out or do activities. Is the best way to make combined expenses fair, since he makes significantly more than I do for post-tax income calculation purposes. I live in Missouri. How does that make it fair? Because he gets to pay more since I mean, that would be it if you combine expenses. I mean, combine finances anyway. He would be paying for a higher percentage of the stuff, sure. But you're not married yet, so you shouldn't do that. But anyway, AT&T, $129.60. I just recently upgraded my phone and financed it. Dumb. But you buy your phone cash and you need a less than $200 phone, and then you can use Mint Mobile, which is like $25 a month. So stop it, unless if you pay for like a year in advance. So stop this stupidness. This is once a month because you financed a freaking phone. Okay, so you're doing it wrong already with the first one. If you have it, does it say? Oh, debt. They do have debt. So yeah, you're not doing one. You get one streaming service, not two. Some people would say, the $2.99, that's not that much. It doesn't matter. Well, because you are spending all of that in the AT&T, unless you can get out of that somehow, which probably not, unfortunately. You got to wait till the phone is paid off and go to the end of the term or whatever, and then you cancel it, and then you can switch to Mint Mobile or one of the other cheaper carriers. So yeah, so having to give up one of the streaming services is just punishment for you being dumb. Yes, that's what it is. Sally Mae, that's student loans. 368. Ally Auto, so a car loan too. So you're doing it wrong. Geico, that's an insurance. And this person didn't have any problem getting insurance with all that debt. Federal student loans, Discover student loans, Discover credit card. Opted for high deductible health plan, so I'm paying $0 out of pocket. Vision insurance less than $8 a month. Dental is free. Groceries 400. TP fund is included here. Toilet paper. Eating out, there's no eating out. Look, I found 100 to 150. No eating out. If he doesn't have debt, he can eat out, but you can't. If he wants to take you and pay for it, that's fine as well. Gas 160. How are people spending so much in gas? I don't understand. I mean, gosh. I mean, I guess if you moved somewhere and didn't know where you were going to work, I guess you could be a long way from the workplace. I don't know. That's just a lot. So, but there wouldn't be any joyriding on baby step 2. No eating out or joyriding on baby step 2. Saving balance is about 500. Working on the emergency fund. Not currently contributing to 401k. Great. Good. Due to the credit card debt, but I may change that. No, not until you shouldn't. Until you finish paying off the debt. What would you focus on first? Any expenses you see that I could reduce? I don't see how. It's too late unless you can turn in that phone and not use it, and then buy a sub $200 phone and pay $25 a month for the service. I mean, that's about it. You can't reduce minimum payments on loans. You can't reduce the insurance unless you are in a situation where you can pay the whole year. So that seems a lot for insurance. Maybe I guess if it's full coverage, that might be all right. Okay, but yeah, I mean, there's not anything you can do except stop spending extra money on things that aren't on here. Whatever you're doing that's not on here, you stop doing anything that's not necessary, and that's how you pay off your debt. That's how you finish the $1,000 emergency fund, and that's how you pay off your debt. And that's going to take a while for you. Somebody said look for the save plan where it's income based. Is Dave Ramsey sub? Yep. So he has a voice in the back of my head talking about unmarried couples playing house. He has a point. Absolutely, he does. Temporarily cut the eating out, like until you have baby step 3 done, maybe? Yes. This person. Nostratic. How about that? Pretty good, Nostratic. Shop around for the car. You better shop around. Yep. What's his stance on original poster? Has no ideas. We've been together for 8 years, engaged for almost 2, no issues. It's that you're not married. That at any moment it can all fall apart. Yeah, odds against it are fairly high. Yeah. Yep. Study says if you have a reasonable engagement period, he said 6 months, and do not live together before getting married, the divorce rate is around 10%. Okay. No children. We wanted to both be working in our respective fields, using our degrees first before getting married. Why? Why? Oh, before kids, not before getting married. So why not get married? Sell is too high, exactly. But yeah, yeah, yep. Cell phone ideas, yep. Transfer, even if just for 1 month, it will send you a debit card with the balance of the phone paid off to 1K. Will they really? That is cool. Still though, with T-Mobile, it's not going to be as cheap. Oh, and Get Mint are visible. Okay, so you want to do T-Mobile for 1 month? They might not, like, they might have a way to keep you in longer for paying off your freaking phone for $1,000. They might have a way to keep you from doing that. So, but that's still a good idea. That still gets you out of that. And it pays off your phone. And so that definitely lowers your phone. Stop eating out, period. Shop for new. Start to defer all spare funds of paying off your highest interest loans one at a time. Nope. It's smallest to largest. Even the people that seem to give the most advice, the same as Dave, they always have something that's different. Boom, boom, boom. Says up to $650. Okay. For instead of the $1,000. So let's see. Made a rule for myself that I can't spend money on something if I can't pay that same amount toward debt, and that really helped me. That's not how it works. You don't You don't that takes away the money twice. It puts the one in the debt that's gone, which is a good thing, and it also takes it to buy something else. So that is not a good plan either. You put both amounts. You put doubling it. What up, Troy Story? Shout out. Slash a credit card debt, cut the fat, emergency fund hustle. Yep. Oh yeah, working more would be great. Absolutely, working more would be a great idea. All right. Unsure how to allocate funds. You allocate everything to paying off the debt. Slight Judge, 3978, retirement. I joined my agency, pension system, back in 2010. Sadly, I left in 14 for another job that didn't pan out. Unfortunately, I'd cashed out my retirement and spent it. Or did you invest it? Should have invested it. Let's see, went back about 6 months later and I've been there ever since. Now I'm older, more mature, starting to become more concerned about retirement and being able to get out when I'm healthy enough to enjoy life. At this rate, God willing, I'll be able to retire at 55 with 30 years of service. Okay. That, in my opinion, is a pretty good age, but I can't get past PAST, past, not SSED. The 4 years that I lost, I can only imagine that feeling getting worse. Yeah, I mean, that is lost time, but there's nothing you can do about it. Also, the pension is not that great. It only counts for half of the 15%. So, like, if you're putting, let's use 15%. If you're putting 15% of your gross income into that pension system, it only counts for 7.5% because pension systems does not make as much money as the market does. So you would still have to put in, and even if you were putting 15% of your gross income into the pension system, you would still have to put in another 7.5 because your pension system only counts as half. Oh, let's see. Read that part. Oh. What can I do to make up for the lost years? Well, you would invest separately, do a Roth IRA. You don't need a buyback. You don't need to do any of that crap, especially since it doesn't make as much in the as the market does. So do a Roth IRA. Do I open a Roth account? Yes. Or do I invest in index funds? Okay. Okay, people don't seem to understand this. Do I open a Roth account or do I invest in index funds? Okay, so it works like this. You open the Roth account with your favorite brokerage, okay? And then what do you have to do? You have to send money to it. You have to put money into that account. And guess what? That's not the end of it. After you put the money in the account, there's not some magical thing that Roth already is an investment and it already has a set pattern of mutual funds or anything like that. Any type of investment, it doesn't do that. You're just making money market type interest on it unless you buy something. And guess what? One of the things you could buy would be index funds. So people just don't get that for some reason. They think, when you ask them what you're invested in, they say, my 401k. And they have no idea what, since that was set up through their employer, they probably put them on some kind of target date plan or something like that at least, but they don't know anything about it. So they just say the name of the account, and that is not what you're invested in. That's what your investment is inside that account. So I'm not looking to take risk. It's all a risk. I mean, you take the risk of the market in order to make more than your pension system, which is only good enough, according to Mr. Ramsey, for half in his plan of 15% of gross income. So, but for retirement, his advice is manage mutual funds because they can make more than the freaking index funds, even after you take out the higher expense ratios, which because you have humans involved deciding what percentage of each stock to have in the mutual fund, which is what makes it make more money. You have to pay those people, and so it has a higher expense ratio. But there are plenty of managed funds that beat the index. You just have to not be lazy and look for them. I'm not looking to take risk. I only want to be able to supplement my retirement funds in the event I cannot make my full 30-year retirement. If I can make it, awesome, and have extra security. I just don't know what to do. Obviously, father was the investor in family. He lost upwards of $1 million in the stock market crash. Well, no, he didn't. No, he didn't, my friend. He didn't lose it in the stock market crash. He lost it when he cashed out. So he never shined any light on any of this. Yeah, he should have explained it to you. Maybe he didn't understand either, though. Not that I can blame him, but basically died broke, okay? Yeah, again, his fault for cashing out. If he doesn't cash out, let's take a look. I happen to have the market here handy, and we'll use the S&P 500 index just for an example. Okay, so what crash are we talking about? That one? We talking about that one? Talking about the Pandy crash, which is right here. Let's look at 5 years. There we go. The Pandy crash right there. And yeah, when you look at it as short a time, it makes it a much more drastic looking drop there. You're talking about the Pandy crash. And so the dumbest thing you can do is to cash out. So if he like waited and waited and waited, and then says, oh, it's not going to go back up, and cashed out right here, yeah, he lost a lot of money from up here. I mean, really, you really can't say that either. Let's go back to the max view. See, the problem is you can't count any of this. So say his contributions part are way closer to the zero amount, just for an example. Way closer to the zero amount is his contributions, and all the rest of it is growth. Now, people mistakenly say, I made that money and that's my money. Nope, you don't get this much money unless you cash out right here. And then it goes down. So since it was up here, and since it always goes to new highs eventually, that means anything on every downturn, that means it's on sale. And so you're going to get even more bang for your buck. Back to the Pandy crash. Guess what? I started investing a little bit before the Pandy. And so I was right here. And then, it went down. And then I bought all this way down. You buy on schedule, whether the market's up and down. That's called dollar cost averaging. And that way, you bought really cheap right here. It's on sale at the bottom right there in this particular time period. And then guess what? You got to, but even me up here right now, S&P and NASDAQ, both, I think S&P, no, I think they were both down. They were both down, so they're not at all-time highs, but they just did set new highs last week. Even me, right here, I don't get that money unless I cash out. If it drops down a whole bunch, say it cuts in half tomorrow morning when the market opens, and it cuts in half, guess what? I don't get that money. You don't make it. You haven't made it. You have unrealized gains at that point. And so it doesn't count unless you cash out. The same way the drop, whenever he lost the money, lost it. He didn't lose it by the market going down. He lost it when he cashed out at the low. That was the problem. And so, yeah, you just need to, you can Google this, and you can learn all about this stuff. You can learn about crashes and so forth. You can Google all of it. You just have to want to learn about it and do so. You can get Stock Market for Dummies. Investing for Dummies. Where were we at? Came into work, jumped on the first pension I could get my hands on. Currently 36, 37. You still got 30 years in the market. You'll be fine. But you need to do the Roth IRA in addition to that, at least do Roth IRA in addition to the pension. So what Dave recommends is that you are doing 15% of your gross income into retirement. And your pension, whatever percentage of your gross income that you're putting into the pension, only counts for half of what that amount is. So you got to make that up. You can make that up in your Roth, and if you have to, because it's more money than you can contribute in a year to a Roth account, you can just open up a general brokerage account, non-tax advantaged brokerage account. Do not want to die and leave her broke. Yeah, thanks in advance. Okay, yeah, you just got to find out about it, or you pay a retirement advisor to an investing advisor to teach you about it and guide you about it. So either one. Everything's on the internet. It is possible to learn about all of this stuff. That's how I did it. The Ramsey coaching does not teach you about all this, because you're not an investing advisor. You're a financial coach. You're more about getting this stuff done, not how you do step 4 exactly. But I just told you. And Dave tells you that kind of thing as well. And yeah, pensions, they don't make as much as the market does. People think they got their pension and that's all they need and they're great. They don't make as much as the market does. So you're leaving money on the table. Again, leaving money on the table. Leaving money on the table with index funds. Leaving money on the table with just a pension. D. Jeffrey, help my friends or stay out of it. If it's with money, I'm going to go ahead and say stay out of it. I have 2 friends from 2 walks of life that are each drowning in debt. One of them spends frivolously on his hobby. What are you going to do? Tell him no? Which will ultimately have very little return on his investment, right? Except for the enjoyment of doing it. But you have to be in a certain position to spend X amount on something, which means further down, up the baby steps. Up or down, rather. It's going down if you're looking at it this way, but you start at step 1, which theoretically would be at the bottom. So I don't know if that's down or not. In this, looking at this, it's down. Further down the baby steps. Rather than paying cash, he chooses to have his credit limit increased a couple times a year. So you can keep adding to his collection. That friend, it might be the more difficult one. I haven't heard the other one, but that one might be the more difficult one. And talking to them about it, telling them about more better financial behaviors is fine. I thought it was going to be more like loaning them money or paying stuff off for them or something like that. Let's see, a couple times a year so he can keep adding into his collection. He is neck deep in conspiracy theories. You can talk to Rachel about those. And specifically believes that all debt will be soon forgiven. All debt will be? Not just student debt? All of it? All of it. We will see a new form of global currency takeover. Do the banks know about this? They're going to be mad about that. Specifically believes all debt will be soon forgiven. All right. So, like I said, this one might be tough. This doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of the theories he believes in, but that's a different topic indeed. But, all you can do, basically, the main thing you can do is be a good example. More is caught than taught. So by you doing it and modeling it, that will work better than you telling them. But it's fine to tell them as well. Let's see let's see which friend is the worst. Let's see. They're both doing it wrong, obviously, or they wouldn't have problems. The other frequently talks about being tens of thousands of dollars in debt while she visits the beach one month and then Vegas the next. she can go see Mila while she's in Vegas. She is consumed by, or Mila, by victim mentality and possesses a dangerous combination of no self awareness and near absence of financial literacy, which is astounding considering that she worked for a tax firm for decades. Interesting. Okay, so both these people probably need counseling, is what I'm going to say on that. But, and that's for like, and that's deeper than financial stuff. And so they may have other issues, financial, not behaving in a good way financially, that could be linked to the underneath stuff, but who knows? I've considered buying each of them a copy of the Total Money Makeover as a gift. That's approved. I thought I'm gonna pay off stuff for them or something like that. And just saying, read it when you're ready. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you don't have to be that vague about it. You can say, this is how I've gotten my life into a better place monetarily, financially. And I think it could help you as well. Heart's in the right place? Sure. My head says it won't make a difference in their life. It may not, but you can still try. And if it doesn't work, it only costs you the amount of the book. That they've chosen their path and the die is cast. No, I mean, they can still be saved, but they have to save themselves. You personally can't save them. I've tried, somebody save me. I've tried to talk to them about my own debt-free journey without making it sound like I'm proselytizing. I have heard that word before. I don't know that that's spelled correctly. Proselytizing. That might not be the exact right word, but basically like preaching is what that means. Dave has often said that people have to have their I've had enough moment. Yes, indeed. And I absolutely agree with him on that. My life is unaffected by the choices that they make. I recognize that money can be a sensitive topic to many, so my effort may not be well received or possibly ignored altogether. So my question is, do I attempt to help them or just stay out of it? I would attempt to help them. If you talk to them about your own debt-free journey, I would keep doing that. Unless they ask you, please stop that. I would keep doing that. And keep being a good role model as far as that's concerned. So yeah, I would keep doing that. And if you sound like you're in a good enough financial place yourself, where you would be able to afford 2 books to give to each of them, and you can do that and talk about it with them occasionally. But beyond that, it is up to them. It is up to them. If you are there, all they have to do is ask you more questions about it if they want more assistance with the knowledge part of it. And so, yeah, that's cool. That's good to do. Always advise to tell people and be a good role model. Fast bud again. You got a fast bud. I don't know. I can't remember the words. Hashtag dementia. HSA, that is health savings account. Well, baby step 2. Yes, you can do that. I stopped contributions to my 401k. However, I wasn't sure about my health savings account. I know it's an extra monthly payment on top of my debt, but as part of life, needed to pay medical expenses at some point. What do you guys recommend? Well, especially if you know you're going to have X amount of medical per year, you can at least put that much in it. At least. But you wouldn't, while you have debt, you wouldn't put over the expected payment amount. So like whatever to get one of those, you do have to qualify. You do have to have a high deductible insurance plan. And so, maybe up to whatever the deductible is you have in the health savings account. Snowball with a past due credit card. If it's just past due and not in collections yet, you get it current and include it with the rest of them. You part of baby step 0 is get current, so you would get that current first. How should I handle this? I want to get started with my debt snowball. I have 2 balances under 500 that I anticipated being able to pay off in the next 2 to 3 months. One will be under 500 soon enough. I'm current on these 3 bills, and my rent and utilities, and I have enough to buy food. However, I have 1 credit card that I won't be attacking until nearly the end of my snowball. That has been a month past due for over a year. Okay, so yeah, you would get current on that. Get current on that as fast as you can. Because by being a month due, you're getting extra fees on it. I missed a payment when I was laid off, and even though I've been paying them again for a year plus, they won't bring me current. You would have to, yeah, they won't do it automatically. You would have to send an extra payment. Should I actually put the money into that card first, just paying enough to bring it current? Yes, that is part of baby step 0. So you would do that even before saving the $1,000 emergency fund. So if you have $1,000 emergency fund, you can use some of that to put it to get that one current. I think because you did it wrong. I think I'd be more motivated from doing the snowball as intended, but I obviously don't like seeing a past due on my credit report. What the credit report doesn't matter. You got to get over that. First of all, that doesn't matter. We don't care about credit scores here. What is the correct way here would be to use the $1,000, part of the $1,000, to make that extra payment to bring that current. And then you attack it in the order of it, which sounds like that's going to be at the end of it. So you would be paying only minimums on it until it was time to attack that one. Starting a wheel. Dan 13 Threat is a frequent poster on here. Have any of you started a will online through Ramsey Solutions? If so, what was your experience? In your opinion, is it better to just hire an attorney for this process? I don't think Ramsey does it directly, but they are partners with, or they recommend Mama Bear legal forms for simple wills. I don't think they have their own. Let's see if they do. You never know. Something could happen. Ramsey Solutions will. Yeah, it doesn't say anything like that. Will create your will online. Dave Ramsey wills. Make your state-specific will online. Online with Ramsey Trusted Provider, Mama Bear Legal Forms. Okay, yep. So it was great. It's bound to happen every so often. So yeah, it's better if it's just a simple will. That online one was fine. The only time you would have to hire an attorney or state planner is something if you got something really crazy happening. But just a simple will you can do through there, and it is binding. NC Insurance 1776, that North Carolina. Unpopular opinion, I can't be the only one that thinks that Dave's small business content is even better than his personal finance content. Anyone else feel this way? Probably. If you don't like his personal finance content that well, it might be because you like to do debt. You like to do debt leverage is why the only thing I can think of here. But of course, his small business content is going to be good because he's done it himself. He's built a small business into a large business. And so I'm sure it's great. I haven't watched that much of it, but I'm sure it's fabulous. But so I would think you just think it's better than the personal finance stuff because you don't like some of the personal finance stuff. But the small business thing is going to be the same thing. There's no debt involved. You do it at the speed of cash. You don't, no business debt. No. So, you can like what you want to like the best. That's fine. You don't have to run it by Reddit or anybody else. I just want to see who agrees. Which, when I like something, I don't have to do that to see who agrees. Confident Fudge 2984. Housing market buy now if you can afford it. Yes. How do you guys feel about the current housing market? Do you feel it's overpriced and that it will cool off a bit? Yes, and then no. Or is now the time to buy? You buy when you can afford it. You don't try to time the market. Same as in the stock market. You buy on schedule. You do not try to time the stock market. I'm looking to buy now, but not sure if buying now at these high interest rate is a good idea or not. If you can afford it, you can buy now, and you can refi to a lower interest rate later if it goes down enough. Yep. So if you have it, if you have the down payment saved up, and it fits within his guidelines, the mortgage payment will be 25% or so of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed. Forgot for a second. These departments, 7648. Is there a way to walk through baby steps without Dave's brutal approach? Alrighty. Oh, good. It's not that long, so let's see. It's just a short question. Without Dave's brutal approach, and what is this another one of those? Is there no room for nuance? Can I go on vacation even though I don't have baby step 1 done? That kind of thing. I get that Dave's method helped a lot of people. Yes, this is the way. His brutal approach that you described, I don't think it's brutal. I think it's effective. And sometimes you have to do drastic things to get drastic results. But is there a way to walk through the steps without his brutal approach? You can do whatever you want to. You don't have to use Dave's method at all. You can do whatever you want to. I was never fond of a guilt building tough love approach. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you were fond of. For anything in life, but that's his fundamental persona, trying to shake people for them to do other decisions. Yes, trying to make them realize how bad of a situation it is. People, they laugh about their debt. They, are lackadaisical about it. That's the word of the day, lackadaisical. And yeah, he tries to make them see that it is a big deal and they need to get rid of it. Because then we've gone through this crossroads. How did you manage? Extra D there, missed the S on crossroads. How did you manage to keep on track? Well, you keep on track because you take the brutal approach to it. I don't get it. 60 comments on here. So, all right. I mean, I don't see, this is not brutal. This is just you telling yourself no. If you have to still go on vacation on step 1, if you have to still eat out on baby step 2, you can do all that. You're just not taking Dave's advice. That's all. No problem. What a terrible call. There's time for tough love and there's time for compassion. I think George Campbell missed the mark horribly on this one. I don't know what call it was. 86-year-old woman didn't need to be lectured about how she should have prepared for retirement. Well, that does help other people because it's not just about this one caller. That does help other people see this is what can happen if you don't do this. And the blunt suggestion that she go out and find a job was almost laughable. 86-year-old people can work. They advise her not to sell her vehicle. 86 years old and doesn't work. Yeah, selling that car could buy her a year. If she needs to drive places, she would need a car. I didn't see the call, so I cannot comment on it specifically. But I mean, somebody not agreeing with even what Dave says to a caller, much less the other personalities, they would have to have a separate subreddit for that if everybody that disagreed with them posted it. So it's fine. You can disagree. It's fine. It's fine. And as far as this kind of thing, like I say all the time, at the height of his popularity, Howard Stern had more people that listened that hated him than the listeners that loved him. And they both listened for the same reason, to see what he'll say next. And so the advertisers don't care if you hate or love, if you're hate watching or love watching, they don't care as long as you're watching. So it doesn't matter. So you're disagreeing on with it with him is fine. You can always get your own show, as he often suggests to people. Anxious message 9329, long-term care. As a disabled veteran, I was unable to qualify for a long-term care program, and I work for the federal government, and the long-term care program is currently suspended. Really? Excuse me? Sleepy? So I reached out to him insurance agent, to his insurance agent, you mean Xander, who recommended a home recovery plan, which looked like just like a long-term care program, just like to get the group's opinion on options as I'm trying to call in for Dave Ramsey advice. Baby step 6 flare. Disabled veterans don't have any. Oh yeah, he said it's currently suspended. Why would that be? Are we out of money? Putting money towards dumb stuff instead, maybe? Let's see. Disabled veteran long-term care suspended. Let's see. U.S. Office of Personal Management, OPM, suspended application for coverage under the Federal Long-Term Care Insurance Program effective December 19, 2022. The suspension will remain in effect for 24 months unless OPM issues a subsequent notice to end or extend the suspension period. So, yeah, I would check again on December 19, 2024 is what I would do to see if it will be. But obviously, the government spending money on way dumber stuff than taking care of our disabled veterans. Why are they? Rate hikes expected? Yep. I mean, well, that's going to happen. And, when the government got involved in healthcare, of course, anytime the government's going to start footing bills for stuff, the rates go up. That's why college is so expensive, because they back the loans. Last year, John Hancock Life and Health Insurance warned OPM that current premiums are unsustainable and would likely have to request significant rate hikes again. All right, well, I mean that's a good reason to address it. I'm sure you got to get, did they ever thought about maybe, I don't know, if they have too many people working in the government, they could lay some people off, that kind of thing. Because the government is too big. It's too big. Too big. Paying a lot of people money when it's not necessary. Alrighty. So yeah, I would check there, and I mean, just try. You can check that home recovery plan, and you can do that for 2 years, or until December of this year. So you've already done. So you only got less than 6 months to go for that. So yeah. Do the home recovery plan. Try it out for 6 months. And see if you can do a 6-month thing while you see if they're going to unsuspend that. SS Kitty or Kitey. Laurel Road. I don't know what that is. I currently have an Amex high yield savings account getting me 4.3%. Recently, George has been advertising Laurel Road high yield savings account, and they're 5.15. After doing some research on Laurel Road, I did not ever hear him say that, but I'll take your word on it. I've come across a few posts, few means more than one, where people say Laurel Road froze their account, but they date back a year. Had anyone had experience with, not me? You guys recommend moving Amex account to Laurel Road. It's again, I mean, people make such a big deal about it. It's 0.75%. 0.75% is the difference. And so, I mean, there's a point where, I mean, granted, after 30 years, that's going to, everything adds up, but that's a low amount to try to move it to something where you're not familiar with them, even if George says it. I mean, if George says they're fine, I would believe they were fine. Subs user, is that like soup or sobs user? Don't know what that is. 6 months in the baby steps. Life keeps coming at me. Help. Well, again, you have to push life away sometimes. I mean, there's some things that, medical emergency, you can't do anything about that. Again, I'll use the thing about a friend getting married in the Bahamas. You just don't go to that if you're 6 months in the baby steps. You just don't do that. You say, sorry, dog. You get them a nice, cheap gift, but you can't go to that. Sorry. 6 months in the baby steps, like you might have. Hi, all. Hi, guys. Life keeps hitting me with unexpected expenses as I work through baby step 2. Advice wanted. Some context. Through university, we call it college here in the United States. A lot of the kids here call it university as well. I worked 4 jobs, managed to cover my expenses, but had no savings. Left school 4 years ago with no debt. Excellent, but living paycheck to paycheck. That's not how it's supposed to work. Did you get the degree? Got too comfortable following university. Again, we call it college here. Thinking I could spend more and have a life for the first time. Yeah, that was dumb. As I worked 2 jobs in 2020 and 2021, totaling $75,000 a year. I mean, you can spend more money if you don't have any debt. You can do that, but you can't go crazy. You also have to have the full emergency fund before you start doing, big expenditures like that, like vacations and such. Dropped down to 1 full-time job in 2022. Researched $50,000 a year before tax. Quickly realized I couldn't keep spending like I was. Oh yeah, well that's good. You want it to be quickly realizing that. Let's see, added up debt 2,000 from overspending on daily things, mostly food and travel to see family in a nearby city. Car problems. Okay, car problems, that's one thing. Travel to see family, if that's not like every day or every week even, you can go see family, that's fine. But the mostly food, overspending on food, that's your problem. We have your problem, and you put it first, rightly so. In October 23, I discovered the Ramsey method and committed to getting my budget and financial life in order. Excellent. Started baby step 1, took a side gig, servicing bartender for catering, as I already had cut out all the expenses I could and couldn't make significant payments on my debt. From $50,000 a year, what you got to look at if you had car. You said no debt though. Maybe living in too high on the hog as far as apartment or house. 936 for rent. Okay, might be a little on the steep side, but probably not too much, depending on the area. Insurance, fine. That's renter's insurance, not house insurance. Car insurance, gas, phone. Go to Mint Mobile, $25 a month. Dog insurance. That is not happening. Dog food, they gotta eat. That's a lot too. See if you can go to cheaper dog food. Dog healthcare, 56. Yep, I mean that, that can start to be, and if you have a dog that is not healthy, they can start getting up in the cost there. Groceries, $200 a month. Laundry, miscellaneous, 50, includes meds, household essentials. None of that's crazy. There's got to be other stuff. Everything else goes to debt payment. You said you didn't have any. Oh, he got I thought he had 2,000 debt. Does that mean added debt to what he already had? No, because he said he got out of college debt free. Right. Left school 4 years ago with no debt. Alrighty, let's see. And then essential item replacement only was completely necessary. 50,000 a year before tax. You ought to be able to handle this. The dog is costing you. Especially that insurance. I would probably get rid of the insurance, but the dog is definitely costing you, but I'm not seeing anything that's crazy here. Where's the money going? I'm averaging $1,000 per month on debt payments from my primary income, over 30% of my monthly income, and adding the full amount from side gigs. Okay, great. So that's 30%. So this amount is 60%. I don't know that, I mean, I guess since it's a bunch of small amounts, I guess it could add up. Maybe if I get motivated, I'll do the numbers on this and have a follow up on this another time. But I think there's other money going out that is not in here. All right. Let's see. Where were we? $1,000 per baby, step one. Then put all my extra income on my debt. Just as I was about to pay off my initial debt in December 23, the S hit the fan. Dog needed major surgery. Yeah, and that's, that can happen. I have pet insurance, but it was still an extra $58,000 of copay and deductible. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I like dogs, not enough to have one myself, but I do like dogs. But I mean, at some point, there's a dollar amount. You know what I'm saying? There's a dollar amount that should be a maximum for that. And if it's not, if you're not going to put that into place, then this kind of thing could happen. Same week, major car repair, $1,500. Right, the car repair, But again, the dog is your choice to do, and the surgery is your choice to do, and keeping the dog is your choice to do. $1,000 emergency fund didn't stretch very far. I found myself in major debt. Family lent me $1,500. Shouldn't have done that either. Put the rest on a personal. Yep, debt. Yep. Following this and reevaluation of my finances, I mean that my income is still too low. Yeah, if it was low before you added debt, then guess what? It's not going to be any better at that point. Duh. Second side gig, babysitting, aggressively protecting my finances. Have had a harsh reality check of how quickly one can go into debt. Yeah, without a safety net. Exactly, absolutely. My total debt was $11,800, and then okay, so that's why I was confused by him saying added. So he had debt before. He left that part out where he got in debt and then added 2,000 to it. Wow, that number is scary. 2,000 bad decisions like lifestyle inflation, 1,500 car repair, 5,800 dog knee surgery in January, 2,500 dog health emergency in April. Yeah. So you just you gotta have a number in your head. What are you gonna spend on the dog? How much are you gonna spend on the dog? That would seem to be the issue, other than there's something still missing, I think, in your budget, between your expenses and your take-home pay amount. Work daily available gig or shift presented to me. Have meticulously tracked my spending and bumped that debt down to $3,600 today. Great. $3,815 of that debt payment was income from my side gigs and other 4,385 primary. Okay, great. Now I feel like I'm in the home stretch. I have 3,600 left. Clear plan to pay it off by the end of the year. Hopefully by the end of summer with my side gigs. Primary income, I will be able to put a further 850 in June. 250 pay plus 600 side gig. Okay, figured it out. Figured it out. All right, I don't care about the individual stuff. That would leave me with 150 to pay in September, which I'm hoping to be able to pick up an extra shift somewhere in the meantime to pay it off by the end of August. Yes, that would generally be it. It would come from somewhere, so you can get it done by the end of August. Or sooner even. Here comes the request for advice. I have $1,000 baby step one emergency fund. Should I use that money to pay off my debt early? No. No. You know what that is? That is asking for there to be something, some kind of emergency. You're asking for it if you do that. This, again, like I said earlier, but this person didn't hear me say it, and still won't. The $1,000, the best case scenario is that $1,000 is never touched. It is for emergencies only, and your debt, although it sucks and is bad, horrible mistake, it is not an emergency. So you do not do that. So no. It doesn't matter what you can do with that. It doesn't matter. No, 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 no. But I'm not looking through the podcast, but I've not found an example of it yet because there's not one. That's why. There's not one where Dave said to do that, ever. With the end of debt payment in sight, how do you keep focused on the other goals of the baby steps? You remember all the stuff that happened to make you have that debt, and that's how you are motivated to have your full emergency fund. Because you had all that happen to you, causing you to work, all that extra and so forth. So you would think that would stay in your head. People do get lackadaisical, again, word of the day, and they do lose focus and they get comfortable once they're no longer paying off debt. They do get comfortable and lose focus like that. That does happen. But again, you were so eloquent in breaking it down and you have all the numbers in your head on everything. How could you personally not be focused? I don't understand how you would think you wouldn't be focused on that. But yeah, you want that so that way if your dog has further problems or your car has further problems, you would be able to take care of it yourself out of your full emergency fund. So step 3 shouldn't be a problem. And that's how you approach step 3, just like I said. I definitely don't want to take the foot off the gas, and you shouldn't. The line in my song, the baby step song, the first Ramsey song I ever wrote, is what is it? 36 months of expenses. You stay gazelle intensive. Right. You don't take your foot off the gas until you are on step 4. You don't start doing vacations until you're on step 4. You don't do anything outside of, $20 fund money a month, something like that. You don't do anything about that. But also need to be realistic and know this kind of schedule with 3 jobs is not sustainable. You're still young. You can probably handle it. How do you strike the balance? Well, I mean, that's up to you. I would definitely keep it going while you do that. I would do 6 months of emergency fund instead of your next thing, which is building a separate. Yeah, I read ahead. And also learn to spell separate correctly. That should be an A there, not an E. Dog emergency fund alongside the 6 month. No, I would just do 6 month. Keep your extra jobs until you get 6 months emergency fund. And then that's an emergency fund that takes care of all of your emergencies. And you don't have an extra savings beyond that because you need to do steps 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this could be what's happening. You could also be investing. Could be investing is where the extra money could be going during this time. Let's see. She's my biggest unexpected expense. Yep. And I realized I need a contingency plan alongside my monthly living expenses. Your baby step 3 will take care of it. And then if you have to use it, then you build it back up. You stop, you go back into Gazelle and you build it back up. You get some more side jobs or something like that and build it back up as fast as you can so you're ready for the next emergency. Edits formatting. Update edit. Thanks for all the comment. 8-year-old dog. Yep. Who I've had since he was 6 weeks old. Yep. 8 years. I mean, that's getting up there. You got to face reality with dogs, with pets. Now has never had a health issue, and up till now has never had a health issue in her life. Yep. ACL. Yep. One-off surgery. Okay. Sudden gastric issue. Okay. Her baby can live to 16 years. Oh, okay. I did not know. And she is now fully recovered. I hope to have many years with her. Okay. Realize it's a huge cost. It's up to you to take that on. And you are in much better position to take that on if you are at least in step 4 with a full emergency fund. You are in much better position than you were before with spending money unnecessarily. Also located in Canada, vet costs are wild. Okay. You got 3 estimates, and he gave the amounts in dollars though. I gave the maybe Canadian dollar. I got 3 estimate loonies. I got 3 estimates and went with the best one. I am confident I got a reasonable price, and maybe should clarify this is not just cost of surgery, but includes all the pre and post-op workup as well as ongoing recovery care. Okay, so that's great, but I mean that's gonna be, what is that gonna be? 50,000. So what? 40. Okay, so it's Canada. They're gonna take more. So what does that put you down to? 35. 35K take home. So, let's just run it really quickly. 35K take home. So that'll be 34, 3380, 3320, 33, 3240, 30. Well, I lost my way. I lost my place. 30. I think like 3190. I think 3190 there. 3040. So there's 30,000 still, or 3,000 still. No, that would be 2190. Jeez. All right, let me get the calculator. Hashtag dementia. That's too much. I mean, even, to be fair, even Dave and the other hosts, of course, write it down. And sometimes use a calculator, I think. I think most times they do it. That's the 60, 80, 230, 380. I'm combining things. 256. Um, 2050. So that is 70. So that's 1722. And what did he say he was putting on out of 35? So that's about half. So if he was putting 1,800 in debt, I guess that's it. Averaging $1,000, so that's still 800, unless the government's taking more than I think they are. But on 50,000, ought to have at least 35,000 left, I would think. Oh, and then I also didn't do, my bad. So 1722, I have to remember that. This whole show is this. Oh, that's 50,000. a year divided by 12. That's what I did not do. Okay, no. So 35,000 a year divided by 12. So, okay, so that's 2,916, and what did I say, 277? So yeah, so that only leaves $200 extra a month difference. Okay, so yep, Canada strikes again, I guess, on the tax. All right. Cool. So I guess that's, I guess at that point that's all you could do. Working, can't ask do much more than work a full-time job and part-time jobs as well. And so I'm in a better position now. But again, all of your previous history should be enough to keep you on track. Oh, and I spent way too much time on that one. Wow, over 2 hours now. Alrighty. So I guess we'll call it a show right here. And again, Coach Steve, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. For more financial content, there's this show, Answering Your Financial Questions. Playlist for that. Playlist for music, where I have Ramsey centric songs in there, and also the Ramsey Show After Show. And there are 376 shows in that particular playlist. Waiting for the stream, the scroll here. Upcoming streams are, of course, this show, Answering Your Financial Questions, and that's Saturdays and Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Ramsey Show After Show, there's one known one coming up, and that is Thursday, July 4th, approximately 6 p.m. at whatever point the Ramsey Show replay that day, certainly for July 4th, when that ends. And I am, of course, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com. Coach Steve Money, that is a video conferencing appointment. So anywhere in the world, you can email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, about anything. Donations, paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, to Cash App, $ Coach Steve Money, or Walmart gift card to Coach Steve Money at gmail.com. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about spending so much time on the one question at the end. And make smart financial decisions every day.